Here's your God Call with Reverend Bill.
We're going to talk about the sweet spot. We've all had the experience where we've overthought something, paralysis by analysis, trying to figure out what could possibly go wrong and then not do the thing that might make it go wrong, and then nothing happens. We've also had the experience of doing something naively that we thought was going to turn out just fine, and suddenly it all went sideways, and we wish we woulda, shoulda, coulda. Well, the next time you're starting something, take a moment, pause, go within, and ask the divine to guide you, to suggest the next perfect step, and then take it.
The presence is here. The presence is here. Love and spirit prevail on each face. The presence is here. Amen. The presence is here. And I will meet you in grace. The presence is here. The presence is here. Love and spirit prevail on each face. The presence is here. Amen. The presence is here. And I will meet you in grace. I will meet you in grace. Thanks.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ginger. Thank you so much. And good morning, New Thought Philadelphia. Welcome to your independence, the second half of 2026, summertime, heat wave, depending on where you're living. All sorts of things are unfolding right now, and we get to join together and welcome them in. You know the rules when we're on Zoom. Go ahead and keep yourself muted, except when we're going to share. And let's do some sharing right now. Let's have a little bit of a little heat wave of joy for ourselves. Unmute and repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I open myself to love.
Open myself to joy.
I open
myself
to
joy.
I open myself to freedom.
I open myself to freedom.
And I know that love is right here, right now.
And I know that love is right here, right now.
And so it is.
So it is.
There you go. Mute your mic one more time as I remind you that New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. Whatever path you've been on, whatever brought you to our Zoom today, wherever you're heading next, we have been expecting you. Welcome. We don't require much in the way of beliefs, or there's the dogma and the creed fits onto the back of an index of a business card, pretty much. We believe there's one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, including each of us, and that we're each using that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. Pretty simple. Even simpler, we say it, your new life begins with a new thought. It is really easy to say that. There's a lot of nuance and subtlety behind it, but that's why we get together and talk about it and celebrate it. If you have extra electronic devices that might disturb you or me or somebody else in the next hour or so, go ahead and put them on shush, and that way we can focus on each other, focus within. I'm Bill Marchiony. I'm the spiritual director at New Thought Philadelphia. Music today is by the amazingly talented Ginger Coyle, who I understand has a prayer work story about her music that we get to hear in a couple of minutes. I've got a couple of practitioners for the celebration. Joe Catanzaro, RSCP, is going to lead us in a meditation in a little bit. And right now, Jesus Baez, RSCP, is going to open us the way we open everything with a practical prayer.
Thank you, Rev. Thank you. Yes. Let's pray together. I will pray it out loud, and you will pray in the silence. And I believe that's one of the best, being in the silence. That's the language that God speaks. Anything else, it's a bad translation. The quieter we become, the better we could hear. So as we sit quietly, still, and to be aware of that eternal presence within us, that's the beginning of wisdom and freedom. To enjoy the freedom that our divine being that is within us gave us. Freedom of choice. I think that's the biggest gift man shall receive from the divine. We are each an individualized expression of divinity. That's another great gift. That we are the vessel, the bridge that God is using in this particular time and place to express his allness through each one of us. So the more we are open, receptive to receive that awareness of the divine potential within us, oh, it's a joy. And this time together, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to hear beautiful sounds, music, the talk, the announcement. Everything we do here is proclaiming the glory of God. And I'm so grateful, personally and collectively, for each one here that say yes, even though there's no time in spirit, but say yes to the timeless that create this time. For we could have, like I would say, what it says in the hood, a good time. In church, we say a blessed time, but it's all God, so good. So receive that goodness. Open in this very moment. I speak for myself, for the community. I say, we are here. It's because that joy is in our heart, that love, that peace, that wisdom, that understanding, that freedom, that unity of life. It's here now. We are living in the web of God where we live and move and how I will be. So I know this celebration is saturated through love, through joy and peace. That's what we are, here and now. So with thanksgiving in my heart, with appreciation in my soul, and gratitude in my mind, one mind, God's mind, I let it be known to the Lord of God, the co-eternal presence. Take the substance and make form from the formless. So it is. Amen. Amen.
So it is. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you so much. So the reason that we do a prayer is because it changes something. It changes the experience we're having in life, and it can change everything from the trajectory of our work, our relationships, or the way that we're interacting with the weather. And I got a quick prayer work story that I'm going to share because there's a little borough called Narberth, which is a square mile, and they have a big fireworks celebration every 4th of July, and that's their big thing. And the lady who owns the pet food store where I get Oliver's pet food used to be the mayor, and now she's on the fireworks committee. So she was encouraging me to come to the fireworks this year. And so I was asking around. Many friends wanted to go to the fireworks, and nobody wanted to. And then our friend Gina, who had been living in El Salvador but moved back because she now has grandbabies, put out the message, anybody want to go to the fireworks? She used to live in Narberth, so I said sure. So she put the blanket out 2 hours early, so we got our spot. right up in the front row. And the coordinator, I met her, and fireworks were supposed to be about 9 o'clock. And they started them at 8:30. It was still light out because there was the threat of a thunderstorm coming through. And I do not like to be in a thunderstorm in the middle of a field. So, and I was also parked about a half a mile away. So I actually did a prayer for the weather and the fireworks and the experience all fitting together in sweet perfection. The guidance of exactly the next perfect thing to do is made and everything unfolds joyously. And the clouds are turning really ominous over our shoulder, and the fireworks display is spectacular. And then it got one of those winds, the really cold wind in the middle of a hot day. It's like, uh-oh, this thunderstorm is about to hit. So I said, I gotta go. And I stood up, I got about 20 feet away, and the fireworks show was so spectacular that I just had to stop and watch it. But then as soon as it was over, I headed back to the car. It started to drizzle when I got to the car. It started to rain right after I got home. So that is definitely a prayer work story. And it's not about it's not going to rain. It's about me and the rain are going to be engaging in a way that's perfect. It works even for stuff like that. Who else has a prayer work story? Ginger.
I do. Uh, so with me, I had done a treatment back in May because I realized that with gas prices rising, the way things were going in the economy, that it probably wasn't the best idea to get on the road and drive around for 7 weeks this summer, like I did last summer. So I had this tour sort of lined up, and then I just had this intuition, like, no, now's not the time. Like, you really should just stay put this year. And I have a lot of music that I've been wanting to record for about 2 years now, and the catalog has grown. And I just prayed that I would find a way. I had a huge gaping hole in my calendar because I scrapped the tour idea, because I book all of my other gigs so far in advance, like in January, I'm booking out my summer. So I left July open for tour and half of August. So I'm looking at a calendar that's just like a gate, it's a black hole. And I'm like, well, Spirit told me to try to be creative. And I prayed about that. And then after I prayed about it, I sat there and tried to figure everything out like we do. And nothing was working out. Studios were booked. And the biggest thing was everybody who I wanted to play on my album was booked because it's summer. So, I was just kind of like sitting with that. And then I was coming to the idea of maybe I should just start recording these things on my own, still in the figuring out of the how. And then on Father's Day, Father's Day weekend, it's interesting because David Young, who's a meditation musician, he does workshops and meditation events in this area. He had just came back around in the past month or so, and I knew that he was doing 2 events on Father's Day weekend that I was trying to get myself to, but I just had too much work because I really wanted to connect with him. I just felt an intuition. So on Father's Day, I was playing Center for Conscious Living, and in walks David Young. And I was like, okay, so this is how this is going to unfold. And he got to see me in my element, and he came up to me afterwards and he said, that was fantastic. I love your song, Peace, Poise, Power. And so I texted him. When I got done with service, I went downtown for a juice, and I was just sitting there, and I texted him Peace, Poise, Power, just a little demo recording that I had, and he said, where are you? So I tell him where I'm at. He shows up in 5 minutes, and we start talking, and we get carried away talking, and I had to leave and do another service in Wilmington, Delaware in the evening, and he said, well, I've got my flutes with me. Why don't I just come with you? He's like, I'll drive down behind you. He's like, we could do the service together. And this is somebody who I've been listening to his flute meditation since 2014 as a part of me learning meditation through Center for Conscious Living. And Jonah used to sleep. It's the only thing that kept him asleep through the night was this music. So it's sort of in the fabric of our family's life, this music has existed. And I've always thought, like when I wrote my Ho'oponopono song, I thought, well, if I could just get somebody like David Young to play flute on this, it would take it to another level. And then there I was in the church in Wilmington playing Ho'oponopono, and David Young is a foot next to me, playing 2 flutes at once. And I started crying in the middle of it because it was just so powerful. And, so then we're packing up in the parking lot, and he goes, I'm supposed to go back to Connecticut tomorrow. What are you doing? And I said, I'm off Mondays and Tuesdays. And he said, well, do you want to get together and try to play some more? So he came over and we wrote a song. We were recording it that night. And every day it was just more miracles were unfolding. And we wrote a bunch. I got to finish a lot of my music with him. I was helping him finish some of his music. And now we've decided that we are going to create a record. We went to Jim Salomon's Cambridge Studios in Philadelphia and we recorded our first single, Awakening, and I'll be sharing that today. But it all just was divine unfoldment, and it's better. I have a chant called This or Something Better, and about when you pray for something, but God usually has a better idea. This is the something better.
That's beautiful.
And prayer works.
Prayer works. It does.
Yes.
I wish I could get somebody like David Young to play flute on my record.
Somebody like him, or maybe just him.
And he just shows up. It's like, well, there's nobody more like me than me.
I'm telling you, it's just unbelievable. I'm so grateful.
Beautiful.
God is
Thank you,
good.
Ginger. Congratulations. Anybody else got a prayer work story to share? All right. In that case, I will break out the kazoo. And Mia will lead us in the announcements.
Okay, good morning, everyone. This heat wave of information is on the website at newthoughtphilly.org. Please sign up for the weekly e-newsletter so we can keep in touch. Our practitioners in training are offering full sessions, including spiritual guidance, support, and practical prayer at no charge. Contact Kathy, Michelle, or Laura. Reverend Bill is posting the Daily Spark from his new book every day on Substack. Subscribe for free. Reverend Bill has a new 2-minute video on Insight Timer introducing his favorite spiritual practice. It's Transform Your Life with Practical Prayer. We host a dozen online meditations every week. Drop by for 15-minute inspiration on Zoom. They're also on Insight Timer Live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. Sandy and Karen lead the Power of 8 Intention Circle every Monday evening from 6:30 to 7 to help bring new experience into the lives of the group members. Movie night is coming on July 28th as we screen the classic Patch Adams starring Robin Williams. There are now 3,000 spiritual adventures in our group on meetup.com. Get your midweek adventure on and meet some new folks at one of the daily meditations. Follow New Thought Philly on Instagram, Facebook, Insight Timer, and YouTube. Your support means a lot. Please support New Thought Philly and those who feed us with a tax-deductible donation by Zelle, Cash App, check, PayPal, Venmo, credit card, or debit card. We are a tithing community with 10% of our income is donated to the people and organizations that keep us spiritually filled. Thank you to the team that makes these celebrations work. We get together ahead of time to get things in order and have some fun. Email the volunteer coordinator to join the joy. Next Sunday is hybrid at Falzer with Praying for Abundance. When someone asks for abundance, Reverend Bill points out that the infinite nature of the universe suggests that we'd be better served with a more relevant prayer. Live original music by Michael London. The practitioners are available for professional sessions by appointment. After the celebration, Jesus is available for a quick transformational miracle in a minute prayer. Stick around in the Zoom meeting after the celebration for casual conversation.
Thank you, Nia. Thank you so much. And if you come to Falzer, you get a special gift for showing up for the second time. We have this lovely little pad and pen sort of combination. We also have a blessing and a warm welcome for our first-time visitors. Chantal got invited to come in today by Ryan, and so Kristen, I'm seeing your name is new as well. So anybody who is here for the first time, you are welcome to raise your hand and identify yourself, or simply accept this blessing. The rest of us are going to send out some love. Rub your hands together, feel the warmth, feel the love, send that out. You are the bright light of God's love. Thank you, thank you, thank you for shining that light and sharing that love with us today. And welcome. Ginger's going to sing another song for us, and as she does, go ahead and turn on your camera if you can, and make eye contact with the people who we are in community with, because it's all one and we're it.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. That's you. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit. Thank you for my wealth. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit. Thank you for my wealth. My opulent, my opulent, my opulent wealth. My opulent, my opulent, my opulent wealth. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. My fabulous, my fabulous, my fabulous life. My fabulous, my fabulous, my fabulous life. Thank you, oh, thank you. I'm so grateful, ooh, so grateful. Thank you, good Lord, thank you. I'm so grateful, ooh, so grateful. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day.
Thank you, Ginger. Thank you, everybody. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So as a reminder of our oneness, we light the flames of faith every week, and this week Scopy is going to read for us.
Good morning, New Thought Philadelphia. We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the earth-based traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. The reading today, it comes from Science of Mind magazine, and it's going to be shared with us by Karen.
The title of the reading is Doubt Daily for Inner Alignment, and it's by Reverend Dr. Soni Cantrell Smith. In our everyday spiritual life, doubt is often seen as something to eliminate, yet it is a necessary part of our spiritual journey, because doubt can help us become clearer about what we truly believe and want. We can use doubt as a practical tool for greater awareness, decision-making, and inner alignment. One of Ernest Holmes' most direct teachings about doubt, in his explanation of prayer and faith, he wrote, "When prayer removes distrust and doubt and enters the field of mental certainty, it becomes faith, and the universe is built on faith." This statement highlights that doubt serves a purpose. It pushes us to identify what we truly know and trust. Certainty can keep us stuck. Doubt allows us to question what we know and provides an opening for curiosity and learning. In Science of Mind, the universal or infinite mind, sometimes described as God or universal intelligence, is understood to be an ever-present and supportive. Thus, we are supported in our doubt and in our certainty. When we acknowledge where it is that we feel unsure, we create a space to examine our assumptions and to choose our thoughts that align with what we want to experience. One of the ways we can use divine doubt in our daily life is to clarify our decisions. For example, when we feel uncertain about a choice, a job, relationship, or direction, doubt points out that we need to examine what we value most and where our confidence is strongest. By sitting with that doubt and asking what we truly want and what aligns with our values, we bring our thinking into alignment with our intentions. In this way, divine doubt is a prompt that leads us towards more focused thinking, clearer intentions, and stronger alignment with our spiritual principles. When we use doubt wisely, it becomes a step on the path to greater clarity, confidence, and inner peace. And so it is.
There are people who have let their problems of today lead them to conclude that for them life is not the way, forgetting all about. And if yours you cannot find, you should talk it over with him. He will give you peace of mind. When you feel your life's too hard, just go have a talk with God. Many of us feel we walk alone without a friend, never communicating with the one who lives within, forgetting all about the one who's never ever let you down. You can talk it over with her 'cause she's always around. If you feel your life's too hard, just go have a talk with God. Do-de-do-de, dum-dum-da-dum-da-dum-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-dum-ba-dum-ba-ba-da-da-da. He's the only free psychiatrist who's known throughout the world for solving all the problems of men, women, little boys and girls. If you feel your life's too hard, just go have a talk with God. If your load's too much to bear, oh, just go talk to God, she cares. If you feel your life's too hard, just go have a talk with God. Ooh.
Thank you, Ginger. Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. And what a great advice. Let's go have a talk with God. Yes, indeed. So it's 4th of July weekend, Independence Day. It is the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of said independence, the semi-sesquicentennial, because of course we need to have some way that makes it impossible to pronounce. I was around for the bicentennial, which was, first of all, easier to say, and for me felt more relevant. It was more exciting than the 250th celebration. And that's personal. It's for me. I was in high school at that point. I was 17 years old, and maybe everything was more exciting at that point. Hmm. And you're not going to do value judgments comparing one to the other, trying to figure out why, although we can. When I was growing up, and everywhere in the country, somebody says, where did Thomas Jefferson write the Declaration of Independence? And they say Philadelphia. And since moving here, I realized that Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence at 7th and Market because it's a different perspective and different ways to look at the same thing. One of the things that Thomas Jefferson wrote in the Declaration of Independence is one of the most brash phrases I think that anybody has ever used. And it's the beginning of the second paragraph, or the beginning of the Declaration if the first paragraph is the preamble. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Self-evident. Self-evident truths. Now, that is really powerful. Because what he was claiming is stuff that was not actually self-evident at the time, and even 250 years later is not completely self-evident. But if you start your sentence with, we hold these truths to be self-evident, you're making, first of all, a really bold claim. And then you're probably going to distract people by what you claim next, so they're going to argue about that rather than the claim that they're self-evident. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is some powerful language. And that's our founding document. And the first paragraph of the Declaration of Independence was actually the preamble. That's what Congress basically decided in May. They were going to send Jefferson and the committee off to write, and what comes afterwards is what they came back and wrote. The preamble, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind require that they should declare the cause which impels them to the separation. Another bold claim. And the reason that I mentioned that that's a bold claim is because up until then it had never happened before. Nobody in history had ever broken away from the ruling power. There had been wars, there had been takeovers, but nobody just said, you know, we're done with this and we're out of here. And yet there they were, saying that they were not only doing that, but they had some really good reasons why. When you claim a truth to be self-evident, that is a big, bold claim, and it is metaphysical. You are claiming something that may or may not be true in the world around you right now, but you're claiming it and you're putting your energy behind it. And words is important. The words and the language that we use can be very, very important. When I was on the radio doing comedy shows in the 1980s and 90s, it was the big ensemble morning show, and being, you know, top 40 radio at the time or oldies radio, and being morning shows, people are interested. What time is it? What's the weather going to be today? And what's the traffic? So there was a lot of that. So running gag that we had is somebody would say, "What's the weather?" And the response would be, "The weather is a meteorological description of events going on in the atmosphere. But that's not important because it's going to be sunny today." And it is a way of pointing out that the way that we're using language is not necessarily the way that we think we're using language. And yes, that was completely ripped off from the movie Airplane.
You'd better tell the captain we've got to land as soon as we can. This woman has to be gotten to a hospital.
A hospital? What is it?
It's a big building with patients, but that's not important right now. Tell the captain I must speak to him.
Certainly. Excuse me, sir. There's been a little problem in the cockpit.
The cockpit? What is it?
It's the little room in the front of the plane where the pilots sit. That's not important right now. You see, the first officer is ill, and the captain needs someone to help him with the radio.
What do you mean? What was that? What did that question mean? We hold these truths to be self-evident. We are making a claim that may or may not be true, and we're hoping that people are going to skip right past it. What's the weather? We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We don't have the right to happiness. We have the right to the pursuit of happiness. We can chase after happiness in whatever way we want, is what the claim is. And sometimes when I think of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, I think of the dog who's pursuing the car. You know, the car is driving down the street and the dog chases the car. What's the dog going to do when he gets it? And the same thing can be true for us. Once I have that happiness, am I going to recognize that I have that happiness? Once my pursuit is complete and successful, what am I going to have? What's it going to look like? And the pursuit of happiness is intentionally vague and fuzzy because they didn't want to define what happiness is going to be, because everybody is free, because they're talking about freedom. Everybody is free to define their own happiness and to pursue it in the way that's meaningful to them. Unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, written by Thomas Jefferson, who owned slaves. So, okay, well, that takes out some of the liberty and a fair amount of the pursuit of happiness from those people. So when he says that all men are created equal, it's like not all men. Some men are, and women aren't at all, but some men are owned by other men. And the Declaration of Independence, which was a very wonderful, powerful, aspirational document, was signed by a bunch of white guys in the territory that had been inhabited for thousands of years by people who were of different skin color. The one that's come back around for me now is the inalienable rights. Inalienable rights. So you can't make these rights alien. Nothing is alien. Although we've been having a big thing about immigration now, and what they define immigrants as are aliens. people who are coming from other countries to live in our country. So inalienable doesn't necessarily mean the same thing that it used to mean. So the words are really powerful. They're still really powerful. They're aspirational. They're talking about who we are as a people. And it's not just the country out there. It's each of us individually and all of us together. In the first paragraph, it continues that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. So the government is here to support us all in our pursuit of happiness and our mutual safety. And the question that comes up for me is, how's that going for you? And some people say, well, I don't follow the news. I'm not political. I don't get involved in these sorts of things. Can't watch the news. And I understand there's a lot going on. There's a lot coming at us. There's a lot of stuff that's in flux, the things that are being changed. When we go back to the good old days, or we want to go back to the good old days of the the revolution, where women didn't have the vote and slaves were owned by other people, probably not. That's not my country. That's not the country I want to live in. And this part that's in the second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence, no. Agreeable to me, that's what it needs to be. So the question for you is not, what do you want to do? The question is, are you willing to pay attention? Are you willing to pay attention to what you're giving your consent to? Because silence is tacit consent. We've all heard about the Underground Railroad, people who helped sneak slaves out of the South and into the North and into freedom. People who are willing to risk their lives and their freedom and their security in order to help abolish this thing that was unacceptable. I was watching a documentary about a wonderful filmmaker you've heard of, Steven Spielberg, and he started doing TV movies, and then he got to do Jaws, and then he got to do E.T., and then he got to do lots of other movies. And then he did some serious movies, and one of them is Schindler's List, which is the story about how Oskar Schindler, who was a German, saw what was going on and said, I do not consent to this, not in my name. This should not be happening to these people. And worked out a finagle to save the lives of 1,000 Jewish people and get them through to the end of the war. So part of it is political, but most of it is metaphysical. Do you need to watch the news every day? Do you need to get wrapped up in whatever the 24-hour cable channel is feeding you? Do you need to pay attention to every headline? Do you need to follow the president's social media feed? No. You don't need to do any of that. You don't need to do anything. But if you're going to sit there with your hands over your ears, pretending that nothing's going on, going la, 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 because you can't be distracted or disturbed by it, then you might be missing the point. Because we can still use those same metaphysics. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all are created equal, endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, among these life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Take that into prayer. Take that one into prayer. And pray for the way that you want to feel about a country that's actually accomplishing that. Pray for that goodness to be coming about. Don't make the assumption, well, they wrote it 250 years ago and we're done with that and this thing is going the way that it's going now and they're not connected. They are connected. Those are our words. That is our metaphysics. That's what we have been claiming since the very beginning. And as we talk about in our classes, including practitioner class, there's a thing called race consciousness, which is not racial. It's about the human race. It's about thoughts and beliefs that have existed for a long time. They continue to repeat themselves. They continue to exist in our collective belief system until somebody changes their mind about something. The good news is this certain inalienable rights thing, this self-evident stuff, is baked in to what we believe collectively. And all the other stuff that's happened since then has influenced our beliefs, but it is possible for us to refocus and reframe on the country, the nation, the world that we want to live in, and do a prayer about how we want to feel when we're living in that world. And when you do the prayer, it might not lead you anywhere, and that's okay, because you follow that with a meditation. Prayer is where you get to speak. Meditation is where you get to listen. And when you get into that quiet space, listen for guidance. Is there a step for me to take? Is there something I can do that is similar to what was done by the people on the Underground Railroad, by Oskar Schindler, by other people who may not have their story told by Steven Spielberg, but still hugely relevant? Is there a step for me to take? Listen for the guidance. And as was pointed out in the reading, let doubt work for you. If you get an idea, I can do this, say, maybe not. What happens if I don't do that? Because sometimes your ego will give you a great idea of something that you can do and it'll burn out your energy immediately. But if you have a little bit of doubt, a little bit of hesitation, a little resistance, and you do a meditation again, it'll come back. This is an infinite universe of limitless possibilities with one creative power that's been at it since, as far as we can tell, at least 14.2 billion years. If God calls and you let it go to voicemail, God will call back because it's an infinite power with limitless patience. So open yourself to the guidance. When the guidance shows up, you can resist a little bit, but give it another chance. And then when that persistent guidance shows up, that is your opportunity to ask. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all are created equal. Inalienable rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, all those good words, those powerful words that are wonderful. And if you go and read the Declaration of Independence, you don't have to read past the second paragraph, because after that, it just gets into a list of gripes and all the reasons the 13 colonies that really didn't like each other that much were so in agreement that they didn't like what England was doing that we united. There's a story there for you. Go look at the story. Be open to what it means today. Maybe it means something different than it meant 50 years ago or 100 years ago or 250 years ago. What does it mean to you? Open up to that possibility and allow that truth become self-evident. You deserve the wonderful way that love shows up when you do that. So it is.
Awesome. So this song is more of a chant, and it's our first single coming from Ginger Coyle and David Young. It's called Awakening. Awakening, awakening, I'm awakening, 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 I'm awakening, calling the universe, calling the truth, call it eternal love, shining through, awakening, awakening.
Awakening, awakening, I'm awakening. Calling the universe, calling the truth, call it eternal love, oh, shining through, awakening, awakening, I'm awakening, 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 I'm awakening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ginger. That was beautiful. And thank you, Reverend Bill, for the talk. We're going to do a little meditation now. And I came across some information the other day that helped me put this together. Apparently, in some Middle Eastern and Eastern European traditions, it's believed that for 40 days before your birthday, angels and spiritual beings gather around you. And they don't just leave the next day, they hang around for a while after that. And it's believed that they are there to help support the person, the individual, with some growth and change and development, and connection with the divine during their birthday period. Apparently, birthday is not just a marker of age, but is that marker that it's a time for growth and introspection. So since it's America's birthday, and it's not our birthday, but maybe, but we are the country. We are, when we talk about America, it's not just the land and the buildings. It's the people, it's us. I thought, let's think about what would we want from those spiritual beings, those angels for our country's birthday. Because it will impact us. It really will be built in us. And then it is demonstrated in our society. So we can think of equality and unity and harmony and freedom. What would that look like? What would those things feel like? How would they be manifested? What would we actually experience? They're all the things that we can put together. So let's take that into meditation. Get comfortable in your chairs, or wherever you're sitting, wherever you're positioned. It's helpful to have your feet flat on the floor, your palms open and relaxed. We'll start by taking a few slow, deep breaths. So take a breath in and hold it at the top. And release. And feel that little bit of space and opening. One more deep breath. Bring it in, hold it. And release. One more breath. Hold it, bring it in, inspire. Hold it. And release. Equality, harmony, unity, and freedom. What does our heart tell us about those things, those principles? What does our head tell us about those principles? And how do we align our head and our heart to embody them? What does it look like? What does it feel like? How do you individually express them? We can take that into the silence and paint that picture for what we want to see in the world.
Jesus is going to unmute and lead us in a prayer.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Rev. I was half there. So I will try again. One day at a time. The serenity prayer is beneficial for this moment in time. God grants me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Courage to change those things that I can. And wisdom to know the difference. God grants me patience for the things that takes time tolerance for the struggles of others that are different from mine, appreciation for all that I have, and the willingness to get up and try again, one day at a time. I like what Ralph Emerson Waldo said. He said the highest form of prayer is contemplation. Contemplate on love, on God, and your prayers are answered. That's our weapons, if we're gonna call it a weapon. It's the prayer. And not only the words and affirmations, because those are shades of thoughts, but the feelings. That's creative. That brings the creativity. So the more feelings we put into our words, the highest is the prayer. So what we got in this talk, personally, I got a revelation, illumination, inspiration, and the most, intuition. Listening to that small voice within us. What can we do? What we must do? What's the right thing to do? That we could always express our freedom, our gift, freely. Because we know that Gunner's Home said, we know and we know that we know. Our knowing is not lukewarm. It's positive, powerful, present, and personal. Keep the other threes. God grants you patience, perseverance, and persistence. This talk didn't come in one day. Wish it did, but it was a process. What Ginger said on those prayers was also a process, but it came quickly. That's how the truth is not a process. It's a revelation, illumination, the intuition. I know that I don't know that I know. We cultivate through these talks, through this music, the reading, the meditation. All is one. It's not divided, it's united. And as we listen to that small voice through the talk, we know what to do. We know what's ours. Could be praying, whatever. God is in all. And all is good. So I invite you one more time. What's ours? And take a deep breath in. Be inspired one more time by the one power. As you let it go, emptying out yourself. And let God be one with the source of all good. And as you're comfortable, shake yourself a little bit. I guess that's Ginger. Sing the next song for us. So it is.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Jesus. Oh, beautiful
for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. That was a prayer for America.
Thank you, Ginger. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, everybody. So this is the portion of our celebration where we get to share. If there's something that's come up for you, some aha, some inspiration, some new way of looking at something that's been around for a while, go ahead and raise your hand and get a chance to give voice to that. I personally love the exercise of reading the Declaration of Independence again and taking a deep dive into it from a metaphysical perspective. And I mean, I've loved reading the Declaration for years, and have noticed at the end of it's really boring because it's a laundry list of complaints. But the beginning part's really powerful. Karen, was your hand up?
Yes. I want to thank you for this service today. It was nourishing, soul-filling, and the way everything just came together with the words, the music. It was just, and weaving together I with country, and it was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
Joe?
I just wanted to thank Jesus for the Serenity Prayer in its entirety, because it's just really struck me. So thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Christy, you're unmuted.
Oh,
Are you
well, then
in
it's
the
an
starting
opportunity.
blocks?
Opportunity to say thank you. I just thinking what Karen had said, and I reinforce that. It was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Nia is going to come back around and lead us in the offering.
New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gift you share helps funds our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We are grateful for every way you share. We don't have a basket today, but there is a donate button on the website to make a donation by Zelle, credit card, PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. You can also mail a check to our office in Ardmore. The offering affirmation is on the screen. Unmute. We'll say the affirmation together. I live
in an abundant universe.
Abundant universe.
I am one with the infinite source of all good.
I am a center of conscious prosperity.
I
enjoy the richness of life.
The richness of life.
I bless my gift.
I
Share my gift with
enjoy.
but enjoy.
That as I give,
Know that as I give, I do receive.
So it is.
So it is. So it is. Ginger, Coyle, it is so wonderful having you here with us and to hear your prayer work stories and your music. One more song for us, please.
That would be my greatest delight. And I love New Thought Philadelphia. Thank you for always inviting me back. You guys know this one. It's higher frequency acoustic version. Everybody's waiting
the veil up from the grand illusion. I think first it's gonna take a revelation, shift our minds and consciously awaken to the positivity human beings should be, full of love and light and inner peace. Vibrate to a higher frequency, higher, higher, higher. When I was young, I looked for love in empty places. I got myself into some situations. Now I've grown, I know my past does not define me, and all the love I could ever need is here inside of me. It took so long for me to see it was waiting here for me. All the love, the light, the inner peace. Vibrate to a higher frequency, higher, higher, higher. You can walk the earth in search of every explanation, but be aware of your own co-creation. Take responsibility for your conditions, and don't forget the power of your own volition. There is joy just as there is pain. They are one in the same. It's a choice you choose to make. Choose to vibrate to a higher frequency, higher, 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 yeah. I am love, I am light, I am inner peace. You are love, you are light, you are inner peace. We are love, we are light, we are inner peace. Now, yeah. Be the love, be the light, be the inner peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Ginger. Thank you, everyone who made the celebration spectacular today. So delighted to be here with you. Benjamin, an exceptional job on technology once again. Wonderful, wonderful. Let us close with another joyful Independence Day cacophony. So unmute as you are able to do that and repeat after me. I am love.
I am
I
love.
am love.
I am light.
I
I
am
am
light.
Right.
I am free.
I am
I am free.
I let my light shine.
I let
Let
my
my
light
light
shine.
shine.
I let my love flow.
I
I
let
let
my
my
love
love
flow.
flow.
And I let freedom ring.
And I
I let freedom ring.
And so it is.
And
And so
it is.
Yes.
Hey.